What's going on, guys? Welcome in. So we're gonna get started here, do some Q&A. Sorry about the lack of quality here. Just got into a new place, so just kind of making do with what I have. Can you guys hear me okay? Make sure you let me know if you can hear me okay, because I'm just using these wired mics instead of my normal microphone. So let me know if that's good to go. Otherwise, I got 2 weeks worth of questions here, so there should be some good stuff in here, and we can really dig into some stuff through the chat as well. And yeah, excited to be back. Like I said, I try to do these every Sunday. Sometimes I skip a Sunday, like last Sunday we just moved, so moved to Nashville. Very exciting, and getting my stuff all situated here. I forgot how much moving sucks. It's awful. But let me get the comments up here so I can see if you guys are saying anything. First, I just want to make sure you guys can actually freaking hear me. Yeah, but we'll get started here in a second. Come on, where are you at? Where are you at? There you are. Come on, let's go. All right. So yeah, if you guys can hear me, let me know. I got the comment section up now, so should be able to see everything just fine. Let's get into these Q&A questions, and then I'll go. If you guys got any questions, put them in the chat as well. But you guys know what these Q&A questions are. They're in the community section. So if you guys want to follow along, so we have last week's and the week before, so we have quite a few to go through. So I'm going to get started with that. First of all, we have Tina here. So Tina, hey Cameron, when it comes to ordering samples from your manufacturer, let's say there's some modifications I want to make after receiving and seeing the sample from them. Would it be best to tell your supplier to resend the sample again after modifying to make sure it works well before making the initial order, or should I save the product inspection instead? So usually if I just get the sample without it being customized first, I just have the inspection take care of it, Tina. But if I get my first sample and get that customized like right away, like I try to do that first. Just because if I can see the whole thing right away, then that just makes it so much easier, right? And you can see the full thing before we go. But yeah, I would keep it into the inspection unless it's like really complicated, like really necessary that you need to see these samples like fully optimized before you make that purchase. Then go ahead and do that. Just again, you're just gonna be waiting longer, right? So take that, and hopefully you can make the best decision for you. Obviously, not everything's black and white. There's a lot of gray area here. RTs, hello Cameron and everyone. Sometimes our sales drop suddenly. It's possible a hijacker can hijack listing without listing our product. Yeah, hijackers can take over, but like get on your listing and see if there's anybody else there. You can also see on your Seller Central if you lost the buy box. If your buy box is under 100%, you most likely are losing it here and there. Or our competitors can hack. Cyber attacks or something, technical hacks. No, I wouldn't worry about that. Amazon has that. Again, guys, don't fall for these scams, these Telegram scams. I will never ask you to message me on Telegram. I will never, on my Instagram, they're making fake accounts. I will never ask you to give me cryptocurrency or do anything with cryptocurrency, right? So don't fall for those. If it's not a call with one of our coaches or me, then it's a scam for sure. So there's those. And let's see, can you guys still hear me okay? Let me know. Let's get going on these questions here. Actually, can you guys see that okay? Yep, perfect. All right. So we got Mary Jane to Mola, like they're relentless. Look at every comment, mentorship, consultant, just animals. It's like they don't have mothers. Like their moms would be so disappointed in them. But anyways, let's get on to Mary Jane. Hey Cameron, how do you test the product before deciding to private label? Thanks a lot. So usually, I'm to the point now where I can do just research, and I feel pretty confident on my research to know if a product's going to work or not. You can get a generic product and test it out though, but I'd rather you put the work in and get a really good product and get an inspection done, make sure it's good to go there before you do that. So it's really just getting really good at product research and maybe talking to someone who's had successful private label products before to check that product potentially, make sure you're not going to any red flags or anything like that. So that's kind of where I would go with it, but you can go get generic products and just sell it for, break even to see if it works. And then after, if it works, you can go and brand it and make a new listing, everything like that. 905 Games, for context, I currently have 600 items in stock. with 240 sold, started in March. Is there an algorithm I can use, or from your experience, I should stop sending inventory in, or reword, is there a sold in stock number or percentage that is safe to stay in? So if you're trying to scale up, then you need to factor that in. But I usually try to have 3 months of stock in there. So 2 to 3 months of stock. And then if I can have some backup units like in the country that I'm selling in. So if I'm selling in the US, having some backup units in the, whether it's in a warehouse or my garage or wherever it may be, ready to always to send in before, I run out of stock. I always try to do that. But yeah, so there is, I need more context essentially is what I'm trying to say here. So I try to get 3 months in there when I'm level. When I'm trying to scale up, I know what my competitors are doing. So if I'm trying to get to their level, I'm having enough inventory where I can match that sales velocity. So that's very important too. So if you're trying to match that up, then you should be good to go. If you have, if you don't mind having stuff in your garage and run lean, that's cool too. But 600 items and you have 240 sold since March, that isn't terrible. It's a little heavy, but I mean, keep trying to scale up, try to push more volume. If you're trying to keep scaling, then it makes a lot of sense where you're at right now. Markita Klemova. Okay. Hey Cameron, could I please ask you where to get the first message you send to Alibaba companies when you're approaching them the first time? Thank you so much. Yes. So if you go to CameronJames.com here, so you guys can't see this, but type it in here. You can see right up top here, CameronJames.com. I don't know why my mouse cursor doesn't show. Maybe it does show on your side, just doesn't show on mine. But if you go to CameronJames.com up here, you can actually scroll down and you can click Amazon Field Manual right here, learn more. And then I'm just literally asking for emails here because this is how I send it to you. And then you can always unsubscribe if you hate my emails. I try to give some value in there. So if you hate them, fine, unsubscribe, but just put your email in there. That's how you get the instant download. So this is my field manual. In that field manual, in chapter 2, I believe, is my RFQ. So my request for quotation for manufacturers. So that's the first message I send to manufacturers. You can just copy and paste from that. There's about 46 pages in there. So I'm not sure exactly what page it's on, but you'll find it. Just, maybe search, find RFQ, or just look through module 2 or chapter 2. I forgot what I labeled it. Just in the supplier section, you'll find that letter in there for sure. So hopefully that helps you out for sure. Let me get this all fixed again. Okay. Megan Gella, can you please elaborate on product shipment costs from China and transit time? Basically, how supply chains issues affecting sales on Amazon. Yeah, so everybody's going through this right now. It's not perfect, but the actually supply cost or shipping costs have gone down the last few months. So that's good. And the demand on that as well has gone down. So things are starting to level out. They're not pre level. I can't say those words on here. The C word essentially. I can't say those on YouTube. They'll push my video down. But pre that, they're not those levels, but they're not at the peak either. So like right between there, and it's starting to slowly kind of come down. So we are just doing fine. Everybody's got it's a cost that everybody has to eat. So it's like it evens out the playing field, if that makes sense. So if say your competitor has a higher shipping cost, you have a higher shipping cost, it just raises prices across the board and levels out the playing field competitively. Unless it's made in the USA, but usually you're not, depending on the product really, it's not a huge thing anyways, because the cost in the USA for manufacturing is way up as well. So Spencer, good video regarding the trademark one. Do you need the DBA registered already? No, you don't need the DBA at all, really. That's just you already set it up with your bank or whatever it may be, but I don't really set up DBAs. Eventually, I'm sure there's some benefits as you push along, but I've never officially set up a DBA. I could be stupid for that. If you guys have more information on that, where it's Cameron doesn't know what he's doing, please tell me. But I've never officially set up a DBA. I have an LLC name that has nothing to do with my brand names, and I just get the trademark for the brand name and get that going. So I'm glad it helped out. Should I go through with the filing or wait until my DBA is officially under my LLC? I would just go ahead with filing. Unless, again, I've never gone through the DBA process. Go ahead and figure it. If it's really quick, go ahead and take care of that. But yeah, we got Mark K here. Hey Cameron, to create a second account, what is required? Can I use the same information I have my first account, like bank account, LLC name or address? Yeah, so you can technically set up a second account with the same LLC, but they want you to get permission for that first. So you need permission and you need to let them know like why. So maybe your LLC has two different brands that have nothing to do with each other. Like if you sell the same product on two different accounts, they will shut you down. And so they want to make sure this. It's easier just to get a new LLC and kind of split things up. But just know if you make two accounts, which you're totally allowed to do, like to become more relaxed on this, there's things you have to know here because if, say you make two accounts, one you're not really using anymore and you just let kind of go and it gets suspended or it gets inactive, eventually they'll link it with this one and they'll shut the other one down that's doing your sales. So when you have two accounts, now you have two more, or since you have 2x the amount of responsibility to try to keep them up, right? We know Amazon can take down our accounts at any time, so it's just more work. So make sure it's a good reason to have that second account because you can sell as many brands and accounts or products on one account as you want. The only reason I diversify is if I have different LLCs, different brands I kind of want to highlight. And then if, you know, it helps separate things out, but it just creates more of a hassle too. So it's like, you got to make sure you're ready for that essentially is what I'm trying to say. So and if you do use the same LLC, they'll make you use two different bank accounts. You'll have to get a different bank account. You can't use the same bank accounts on there. 2, do you still recommend starting an LLC in a different state than everyone you live in for the extra income tax saving? Is there a company you recommend that I could use? You just type in Amazon FBA LLC Cameron James on YouTube. I have tons of videos on that. So if I just go to YouTube, nice, Cameron James LLC, that should work too. You can see I have tons of LLC videos and things like that. So this is the one I'd check out probably first. So I have a couple of different companies I use. Depends on what state you're in. Sometimes it's just easier to use the state you're in. But if you're in California, it doesn't make sense to pay those startup fees. And New Jersey and New York are just awful as well. So I think it's New Jersey. Yeah. Keegan Mikey, if we sell from Canada, we would just be able to open up a TransferWise? Yep, you can do that. Have Amazon deposit there. Yep, you can do that. You can also get a cross-border account in Canada where they have a Canadian account and a US account in the same bank, and you can deposit USD in there. So, or is it mandatory as a Canadian seller to have a cross-border bank account? Not mandatory at all. Also, why is cross-border banking better than simply opening a US dollar bank account with a Canadian branch? Isn't that the same thing? How I understand it, because obviously I'm not Canadian. How I understand it, because I actually work with a lot of Canadians, selling on Amazon. I don't know why, but like 30 to 40% of people I work with are Canadians, so I know a lot about this. But to me, this is the same thing. So cross-border bank account is it's a Canadian bank that allows you to open up an account that can accept USD, because that's the issue, right? Because Amazon in the US, when they deposit your money, they want to be able to deposit it in US dollars. In Canada, you sell in Canada, they want to, they take in Canadian dollars, they want to deposit Canadian dollars. Well, your Canadian dollar account can't take USD and vice versa. So you need to have two different accounts that accept two different currencies. And that's what the cross-border bank accounts are. So that's how it really works. If you have a Canadian branch that has a US dollar bank account, then you should be fine there. I don't see why not. To me, that's the same thing. TransferWise is another good option. Payoneer is also a good option as well, where you can have multiple accounts with different currencies, and that really helps out there. Next, we have Omar. Hey Cameron, how critical is it to not run out of inventory? I'm planning to have an MOQ of 100 for my first order to test the market and then add more. How do you balance not over-investing in inventory when starting out and when not sure the product will sell versus having enough to run out of stock? So I essentially say your first order, don't worry about going out of stock. This is your testing moment. You need to prove the product works. You need to make sure everything's good to go there. You need to make sure there's any, even if it's a product you want to sell long term, there's some glaring issues with it. You need to fix those first before you place that second order. So I put a lot less emphasis on the first order running out of stock. I'd rather you run out of stock than you order us too much or a second order and the product doesn't work at all, right? So do your first order, see if it works, prove the concept, and then fix any mistakes with the supplier or your product in general, and then you could go ahead and place that second order. After that though, after you prove the product and you want to do this officially and scale up, then it becomes imperative you don't run out of stock. Get 3 months of inventory in there, get ready to go there, because that, it's a momentum game. So every time we push momentum and we run out of stock, we lose that momentum, right? It's like getting over a mountain. It's like just because you stop up here, and you run out of stock doesn't mean you stay up here. You actually fall back down the mountain, if that makes sense. So you have to get over the hump with that momentum before you kind of get locked in place. And if you keep running out of stock, you'll never get over the mountain. So that's Cameron's one of my official metaphors of the day. Or would that be, I don't even know if that's a metaphor. I have no idea. Didn't like the English classes. Let's see what we got next. We got Islamic Studio. We can't do wholesale UK, but why? If yes, what's the proper strategy? I have 4 lost clients already UK wholesale. Yeah, I don't like wholesale. I don't do much in wholesale, so you're kind of on your own with that one. I do private label. That's what I would focus on. I believe that's where the most opportunity is right now. Vancouver sells. When we register a trademark in Canada and sign up for brand registry, will that be covered for a US selling account also? Or will we need to register the trademark in US, also sign up for brand registry in US selling? So if you get a or you get a trademark in Canada, you can get brand registered in the US. So it's vice versa. So if you get a trademark in the US, you can get brand registered in Canada. So you just need one of the big country trademarks. But that does not protect you legally in the US, if that makes sense. So you can get brand registered in the US with a Canadian trademark and get all the A+ content, get brand registered, have videos in your listing, have video ads, all that good stuff. But if you want to protect your brand, as in like someone's doing copyright infringement in the US, you actually need a trademark in the US, as I know it. There could be some more to that, especially Canada and US, because there's so many laws we try to make easy for ourselves. I know in the UK, your patent doesn't, we're kind of getting off topic right there, but different countries have different partnerships and different rules. But if I was trying to protect it legitly, I would get a US trademark as well, or talk to a IP lawyer and see how that works Canada or the USA. I know it works differently in the UK, Australia, but on the Amazon side, you're good to go. So that's all you care about, which you should. That's pretty much all you should care about right away anyways, until you scale. And when you scale, you should try to look to protect your brand name everywhere. Zach and Zoo, Facebook ads and how to get more sales using social media. So to me, Facebook ads are pretty rough until you establish a brand and have a good system going before you do that, because Amazon ads are so expensive, and if you can't get PPC to work, you can't get unless you're a Facebook ads expert, I wouldn't worry about that right now. You're going to waste thousands just trying to figure out how it works, and you're probably going to use those thousands just to realize it doesn't work for your type of product. I'd rather you do organic social media or influencer marketing. So at least paying influencers, not too much. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but paying micro influencers on Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, wherever it may be. Pinterest isn't a good example, but it could be TikTok as well. Or you start your own Instagram, you start your own YouTube channel, you start your own TikTok and try to push your product there. And because obviously influencer marketing is huge, right? And so if you can start your own channel with that, that'd be massive. But yeah, that is, you guys can't see his question. There you go. There's Zach and Zoo's question. Sorry about that. But yeah, cool guys. Let me go. We have Muhammad here. How fast can you, so I'm going to the chat over here, so that's what I'm looking at. How fast can you scale an Amazon FBA business? I would say private label, 3 to 6 months. It takes a while to build a good foundation. So don't, you can do it faster. I've seen people do it in 2 months. I've had products that took off. I've had products that taken a lot longer. So it really just depends. So, but 3 to 6 months, I would say, is a good kind of mark there. Bin Abul, do you think OA is better than PL in these times to start to have cash flow because of the delays? No, I think PL is way better. OA, if you want to test the markets, but it's just another 9 to 5 job. If you really want to scale and push things forward, I would try to get into private label. Alexander Rufowski, what's the base real investment without course and programs for this business? So for private label, I want at least $5,000 for your first product. That's gonna be good. That's without courses or programs. So at least $5,000 to do it right. Anyways, you can start with less. It's gonna take a lot longer. You can start with more, but anything above like 10,000 for your first product is, I think you're at your skill level when you're still learning. I think you're taking on too much risk. I think you could start less and go in less competitive areas, learn Amazon, learn the skill set, learn how this ecosystem works. And then if you want to go for more aggressive products, do that then. Because the issue is if say you want to go after a product that does 30K a month, we have $30,000 to spend on inventory and advertising, things like that. The issue is you're going to go into a lot more competitive market where people know what they're doing. They've been on Amazon before. This isn't their first rodeo. They have a lot bigger budget than you. And you get eaten alive by the sharks before you even get a chance to learn how this game is played. So if we start lower, say $5,000 for your first inventory, we start, say, the product makes 5K a month in revenue. There's less big fish in there, less people with, big marketing they don't want to play on there because it's not worth the stakes for them, right? They want to go after a bigger fish. And so we kind of we're under the radar, if that makes sense. We're under the radar for hijackers, under a lot of things. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Learn, teach, and retain how to list multiple options on my list. How to list multiple options on my listings, how FBA recognize it when shipping. For example, I want to sell soap, then option 2, soap with a scrubber. Option 3, soap with a scrubber and caddy. So you make variations. So when you make your listing, you can actually go in and put multiple SKUs in within variations. Sometimes Amazon, though, doesn't like, so you're getting in that gray area where they don't mind variations on the same listing, blue, green, yellow, or small, medium, large, or different designs. But you're in the area where it's almost like there's 3 different products. If you're talking about soap, then soap with a scrubber, and soap with a scrubber and caddy. So sometimes Amazon have what they're called crawlers. So they have, whether it's AI or algorithms, I don't know enough about this stuff, but they have crawlers and they have pretty much code go in and scan. If they don't fit the criteria of a true variation, they'll rip those apart and make them their own listings. So be aware with that. Omar, great. Thanks for your answer, Dan. You're welcome, Omar. Hope you're doing well, man. Eric Mendez, hey, Cameron from Vancouver. Hey, how's it going? How do you delete counterfeit review from my listing? You can go in Seller Central, go to help, eventually get through and ask to make a case. And you can make a case. They'll literally have a bar over there that says review help or whatever it's called, but you'll see a clear section where it's asking about reviews. And then you can ask for a review to get taken down, but usually they don't do it. So it's got to be clear and blatant. Alexander says, thanks, you're welcome. Including PPC and launching, yeah, you could probably get away with it. So like that's with, your first order, your shipping. So hopefully we're staying at that between the 3,000 to 4,000 for your first order. We have 1,000 to 2,000 for launching and PPC and everything like that. And that way you can kind of take it slow. You start to get some cost of goods back when you start launching because you're getting sales too, right? So you start to see some of that money come back, Alexander. Also, so say the product does blow up, say it does way better than you can ever imagine. You're like, Cameron, I don't have enough money now. I have spent $3,000 to $4,000 on my first product. The first 1,000 or 2 is with advertising, and I'm barely getting cost of goods back, but the product's doing super well. Well, then we look into funding it, like financing, or if you have more money, that's when you infuse it. But we proved it worked. So the risk is so much lower now. So we can go to a bank and maybe get a small business loan. We can open up a credit card with 0% APR. And there's 100 other ways to get funding, especially if we prove the product has worked. Okay? Alexander, I like the mindset and the way how you answered. You're welcome. Eric Mendez, another question. What do you think about Perpetua? What's Perpetua? Let me copy this. Let me look. Let me see what we're looking at. Let me make an adjustment here. All right. What's Perpetua? Perpetua alternative downstream by Jungle Scout. What is this? Unlock your e-commerce potential with leading advertising and analytics solutions. So this is probably their PPC tracking. So like Helium 10 has, what's it called now? I'm blanking. I don't even use PPC tracking software. Theirs is called, just because I'm old school, I guess, Atomic is what they're called, but I've heard really good things. I've heard it's gotten really good. And then Perpetua is automation, easy reporting. I mean, I don't know. I've never used it. This is interesting. Yeah, I need to get deeper into this software stuff because I'm kind of behind the game on it. Just because what I've done, it's worked, and a lot of stuff is kind of expensive. Yeah, they're going to sell you. They're going to get you on the call and sell you. Could be cool. I don't know. Let me know if you guys use it before I do. Interesting. Oh, where are we at? All right. So Eric, I'm not sure. Sorry, man. If I get deep into it, I'll let you know. Learn, teach, retain. As from value of time, how much can I save from FBA compared to FBA? Sorry. As from value of time, how how much can I save from FBM compared to FBA? So FBA is a lot less time intensive, right? Because Amazon's doing the shipping. So you spend a lot of time with packing and everything like that. So I do FBA if you're trying to save some time. FBM is good for testing things out in very rare circumstances. Cybersex, hey Karen, how are you going? Did you move locations? Little bit of echoey. Yeah, so we're in a new room and I don't have my soundproof pads up yet. So it is probably a little echoey, so I apologize about that. But yeah, I just moved to Nashville from Memphis and getting the new office set up. So you can see my little Jordan. He's not hung up yet. So that's how behind we are on the times right now. Eric says not that one. Then I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's see. Let's go back. This one right here? What a name, by the way. Is it that one, Eric? Intuitive Tech Man, how long do you think until the e-commerce industry dies down a bit? People give up shopping online because physical retail becomes reinvented. This may be why Amazon and Walmart like brands now. Intuitive Tech Man, that's a good question. So last year we did 13% of all U.S. sales for retail sales. I guess just shopping in general done online. So to me, we're barely at the tip of the iceberg of online shopping, to be honest with you. And so we have a lot to grow there. I see more of like maybe a 50-50 split between in-person and online. Things are just going to get easier and easier. Think of it like this, right? So certain industries, you need to like go in person to shop. Think of mattresses for a while there, right? Mattresses, the shipping is just terrible. You need to go to a local mattress firm to get your mattress because you can't get it shipped to the house. But now they're like compressed sealing them. We have different mattresses that they can ship now affordably. Like I just bought my new mattress online because I went to one of those one of those stores, and I hated it. It was just, there's people in your face 24/7 trying to upsell you, doing sleazy stuff. I'll throw in, literally they told me this, I'll throw in free delivery today if you buy today. And then we start looking at other mattresses. Oh, I can knock 200 off that for you today right now. It's like, what? Like, what do you mean? I'd rather just go online and get what the price is. I don't want to haggle with you about a mattress. And so, just buying that mattress online is just another thing that we're getting better and better at. It's going to take away that retail side of it, that in-person retail side of it. Same thing with like Carvana and CarMax. Well, CarMax is in person, I think, but Carvana, the things you can buy your cars online now and they deliver it to your house. So I think we're still at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to that stuff, to be completely honest with you, Intuitive Tech Man. So there will always be a place for in-person retail. Like that's going to be a thing. People love that. It's an experience. Internet is only about 20 years old in mainstream usage. So it's not that old. Tide could still change to some degree. Yeah, I still think we're going to see this 50-50 split. Right now it still leans, which is shocking. It still mostly leans in person right now. Hustle Man, do you do any RA? No, I don't. I used to, but it's another 9-to-5 job if you actually want to scale it. Moksha Diora, could you please audit Beard Bib and what differentiators can be made? I think Beard Bib has a patent, and I believe it has, let's see, Amazon. Beard Bib. So it's on Shark Tank. So I usually stay away from products that are on Shark Tank because they have lawyers and stuff. It's just not worth it. Cybersex, yeah, I saw MJ on the bottom there. No I in team, but there's I in win. It's true. Can't argue with that, Cyber. Eric says yes. So he was referring to this right here. But isn't this the same? No, it's not the same. Oh yeah, I've never used this either. Interesting. How much? I wonder how much it is. Have you used it, Eric? Yeah, let's see. I would need to see some heavy returns for something like this, to be honest with you. They take a percentage of ad spend here, like animals. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I bet it's interesting. Learn, teach, and retain. I want to sell garlic press, but I see many sellers and they don't do a garlic press. That's so oversaturated. Please don't do that. Cyber sex. I deal with a local mattress guy only because I want them to remove the old one. That makes sense. I mean, that does make sense, but still, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy the experience. I don't like being sold like in person, just because like I'm kind of a sucker. Like I get caught up in that. Like I'm a normal human being with emotions. It's something like I like being sold. Like I enjoy it. It's fun. It's exciting, and sometimes I make bad decisions. But most of the time, if I stay away from the wrong people, I don't. But sometimes it's really hard for me to say no. And so that's kind of me saving my willpower for something else, like working on my business. Jason, hey Cameron, great content. Do you have any experience with 3D renders of products you sell? Yes, I do. So do you have any recommendations? Yeah, so I used to have a great 3D rendering guy. I don't know what happened to him. He kind of fell off the cliff there. So I would go on Upwork. Let's see, have I got this up? Yep, I go on Upwork and Fiverr to try to find a new 3D rendering guy. There's some other sites too that, so Upwork, you can make a job and find a 3D rendering guy. Fiverr, let's see what we have here. Come on. Yeah, so in my experience with like photos and stuff like that, it's if you find someone who's cheap and they're good, they're not going to stay that way. In a year or so, they're going to blow up and they're going to be overpriced. So it's like this constant battle of always trying to find the best people for that. Let's see, FBA makeover. Let's see. FBA makeover is another one. They might have 3D renderings. Yep, there you go. So this could be a good option for you too. So stuff like this. But it sounds like they're gonna make you request a quote and try to sell you. So it's probably gonna be a little bit more expensive than your normal guy. Eric, no, but I hate to do PPC and it looks like this app to do the job. Yeah, so what about Atomic? What about Zonbase? They have a good PPC tool. So there are tools out there that are maybe a little affordable. Intuitive Tech Man, you teach us, we teach you for sure. Keith, can someone please tell me how I can change my product category? I'm currently in health and household, but would like to be on home and kitchen. You have to make a case for that, Keith, to try to fix that. And sometimes they're a pain in the butt. As we all know, Amazon seller support is not the best. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments or the community post what you guys want to see more videos on. That'd be really helpful. Actually, I'll just make a community post to see what topics you guys would like to see more videos on. Yeah, I think that'd be the best because I need to make some more new videos on like some fresh ideas. See what you guys need help with. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it like that, and I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.